The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to be here this evening on this wonderful Christmas week of December. Christmas is coming so fast, and it's very exciting. And tonight, I'm very excited to have a guest speaker that you're gonna get to hear from, and I'm excited to hear from her. I've been working with Andrea since this summer, and just the thing that I've learned from her and through her working together has been a really, really good blessing to me. So, without further ado, well, first of all, I want to welcome you to the call. I'm very excited to have you all, and I'm very grateful for you to be here tonight because I know you're here for a treat. And I also know that if you're here, it's because you're taking your business seriously. So, again, my name is Anne-Marie Chantal. I am a diplomat with the fastest growing designer fashion house. And I want to introduce you to Andrea Osowky. She is actually a life coach, a motivational speaker. She's written a children's book, and visionary for a world without judgment. You know, she's such an expert in creating happiness and a catalyst for great change. And what I love about her is really her belief is that she believes that your joy is the most valuable product on the planet. And that's the world's requirement, right? That's a gift within us that we have, and we have to share it. Um, and I love how she's so in tune with herself. She's so zen and grounded, and she's helping tons of people to find that. She's also a luxury consultant. As soon as she saw this business, she saw how much fun it would be to help other people, you know, looking glamorous as she always does. And tonight, she will share with us some great tips on how to make, what if your happiness was the most valuable product on the planet, like it says here, right? So if you knew your joy could change the world, would you choose it? So please, let's have Andrea on the call. Please help me welcome her. Andrea, are you here with us?
I am here, Anne-Marie. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for being here. Please, go ahead. The call is all yours.
Oh, well, my pleasure. Thank you. How the heck did I get so lucky? I am so excited to be here, and I'm so grateful that people have taken the time out of their days and out of their evenings to come and check this out and maybe grab a couple different tips and tools and see what magic we can create. So, as Anne-Marie mentioned, yeah, my name is Andrea Osowky, and I am a life coach and motivational speaker, and I really love seeing people happy. I absolutely love seeing people enjoying themselves, living lit up, and really having this inspired energy throughout their day and throughout their businesses and throughout their relationships. And that's one of my favorite things to help people create is just this level of joy and excitement with their life. And so I have this really amazing set of tools. So to get maybe a 2-second background on me, I am maybe one of the youngest life coaches ever. How cool is that? Right? But I mean, things weren't always so easy as it goes, right? So actually my dad had a back surgery go wrong at work. He was a journeyman mechanic, and he was a teacher at the local high school here, and an entrepreneur, and he, always had 1,000 things on the go, and he actually had an injury in work. It got rushed in for emergency back surgery, and it was actually during that surgery that the doctor accidentally nicked his sciatic nerve, and he ended up with chronic pain when I was very young, right? So he was very sick and off work on disability, taking all kinds of, prescription medications and all kinds of therapies and kinds of techniques, right, for about 8 years. And he ended up battling, depression and bipolar and a lot of really difficult mental diseases, as chronic pain tends to affect your mental well-being, right? And actually in 2006, he ended up taking his own life. And I was 14 years old, And I had come home from school and my whole world had been flipped upside down. And it was really in those moments that I started to make a demand of myself that my happiness and my level of enjoyment with my life become my absolute top priority. And it was really in watching him struggle where I decided, there has to be more to life than this. And maybe you guys have had these feelings before, like there has to be more to life than this. There has to be something greater, right? And that might be a big reason why you chose this business, is you saw a possibility of things getting greater and things getting easier. And so that's why I'm so honored and excited to be here with you and share some of the tips and the tools that I've learned over the last, handful of years here that might actually add to your life and your business and your relationships and even just to your own well-being. So I wonder how much fun we can have. So a question I'd love to start with before we kind of get into the juicy stuff, but a question I'd love to start with is, if you could get anything out of this presentation, what would it be? And now I know you can't answer, and I know you can't let me know, but the amazing thing is, because we're all connecting right now at this time, whether you're listening live or listening to the replay, we're all actually connecting in this moment. And so when you can come to an awareness in your world about what it is you would like to get out of this, you contribute your energy to having the call go there. You actually contribute what it is that you have to offer energetically to this co-creation, if you will, that we're putting together here. So when I was asking myself some questions about what is it I'd like to share and what is it I would like to really get across to people, what was really showing up was this idea of being the invitation, right? Being the invitation. So what is that? What is being the invitation? Well, to me, being the invitation is being so dang happy that people can't ignore you. Being so dang happy that people can't ignore you. Have you ever, oh man, have you ever gone to a party? And at parties, people tend to, break up and they kind of grab their little circles and one's sitting here and one's going there, right? It's like, would you be willing to be the happiest damn person in that room? Would you be willing to be the happiest damn person in that room? Now, no pressure, right? But I'm going to give you some tips and some tools on how you can truly become the happiest person in that room. And the biggest secret I might tell you tonight, okay, are you ready for the biggest secret? I mean, I can give you all the tools in the world, but this is really what it comes down to, okay? Okay, get a pen and paper. This is very important. Maybe a highlighter. You might have to star this, okay? The biggest secret to being the happiest person in the room is that you actually have to choose it. You actually have to choose it. And that may seem overly simplistic, and I know it was something I personally avoided for a long time, but the amazing thing is when you start to acknowledge that your happiness is just a choice, then you can choose it with as much ease as other people choose being unhappy. Okay? I'm going to repeat that. When you start to acknowledge that your happiness is just a choice, then you can actually start to choose it with the same level of ease and the same effortlessness that people choose their misery. Okay? So, if you start to acknowledge that happiness is just a choice, and you truly get that your happiness is the most valuable product on the planet, which I'll get into more detail in a second, but when you really start to get that, then it becomes a lot easier to choose, okay? Now, unhappiness is a really interesting thing, so maybe we should even talk about that for a second, okay? So we tend to live in a world, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, we tend to live in a world where if you're really unhappy, you get a ton of attention, right? Like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? Are you okay? Like, do you need something? Like, can I contribute to you? Can I give you something, right? And then if you're really happy, people tend to avoid you and then maybe say things like, maybe you've heard this one, like, what drug are you on? You know what I mean? Let's say when you're really happy, people say, what drug are you on, right? Why is it that you're so happy? What is it that you've got going on that makes you so happy and excited, right? And instantly we get taught that we need to have a reason to be happy. Okay? This is something that we're taught. We live in a world where if you're unhappy, you get more attention, and if you're happy, you'd better have a dang good reason. You know what I mean? So when I talk about being the invitation, what I'm really referring to is, would you be willing to be someone who is happy for no reason? Would you be willing to be someone who simply looked out in the world and said, okay, you get out of bed, you put your feet flat on the floor, and you say, okay, cool. If I was truly being me today, what would I choose right away? If I was truly being me today, what would I choose right away? And you take this mindset of like, okay, if I made my happiness top priority today, what would I choose? What would I have for breakfast? What would I wear? Okay? Who would I talk to? If I made my happiness top priority, what would I choose today? Okay? And that's really a small mindset change you can make in starting to really choose your happiness as a valuable product and as a priority in your life. And that's really what it comes down to, is just allowing, that happiness to be a priority. Okay? Now, with that comes another really interesting topic, which is, would you be willing to make yourself a priority? I mean, it's really great to have your happiness as a priority, right? But even one step before that, would you be willing to make yourself a priority, right? Do you get that you're actually part of your life? Oh my gosh, it sounds so funny to say, but do you actually get that you are a part of your life? See, most people spend their whole lives going, who else can I take care of? Who else can I help? Who else can I make happy? Who else can I contribute to? And you may have heard the old saying, you can't pour someone, you can't pour someone, something from your cup if your cup is empty, right? And that might be overly simplistic, but what it really comes down to is acknowledging that you actually cannot gift to people that which you don't have. So if you don't have the happiness that you would like, how can you actually gift it to anyone else? Now, all fine and dandy and all lovely. But Andrea, what do you mean, right? Give me some tools, okay? So this is one of my favorite tools that I absolutely love. Oh my goodness. Definitely write these down. Take notes, stick them on your mirror, because they will totally change the way that you start to see life and start to see your ability to choose. So this is one that actually Anne Marie and I were talking about just recently. And oh my goodness, I just love this tool. It's something I've been playing with for about 6 years, and every time I use it, my life gets easier, and I get more and more inspired and excited with what it is that I'm choosing. And this tool is called the light and heavy tool. Okay? So are you ready? So the light and heavy tool. So what is true will always make you feel lighter, and that which is a lie will always make you feel heavier. Okay? So as a forewarning, anything that I'm saying during this presentation that starts to feel heavy to you, that's cool. That's great. Actually, that's like one of the most awesome things that you could acknowledge is, oh, actually, no, that feels heavy to me. Now, what that means is what I'm saying might not be true for you, and that's okay. See, the light and heavy tool are like the compass through your life, in which if you're willing to listen to it, you'll never get lost. Okay? So light and heavy. So what's true will always make you feel lighter, and what's a lie will always make you feel heavier. So just for a second, a little exercise you can do is you can close your eyes and take a really nice deep breath. You can feel your feet planted on the floor. Maybe you can feel your butt in the chair. Okay? And what you're going to do is you're just going to ask out loud or in your head, whatever works for you. You can say, body, show me what light feels like. And then get a sense for that. Body, show me what light feels like. Cool. Now say, body, show me what heavy feels like. Body, show me what heavy feels like. And that's something you can play with. And the amazing thing is when I first learned this tool, it wasn't necessarily that strong of a difference, but there was a subtle difference. And everyone will feel it a little different. You might feel it in your head or in your stomach or in your shoulders, or in your throat. But just follow wherever it is that you feel it, right? And then from there, keep experimenting with it. Because the more you start to acknowledge what feels light or what feels expansive or what feels big and yummy and juicy, opposed to what feels heavier than a ton of bricks, okay, that's when your life will start to get easier. So if what's true will always make you feel light, then the amazing thing that occurs is the more lightness you choose, the more lightness shows up in your life. Okay? The more lightness you choose, the more lightness shows up in your life. Now, alternatively, the more heaviness you choose, okay, the more heaviness shows up in your life. So it's really about looking at what it is that's light for you and then choosing according to that. Okay? Now, okay, cool. I love that. So what's true will make you feel lighter, and what's a lie will make you feel heavier. Amazing, amazing tool. And how you get that light and heavy is just by asking questions. Like, so what if you started to ask questions for everything? This is this tool number 2, if you will. If the light and heavy tool would be number 1, this here would be number 2, which is asking questions. Okay? Asking questions. So how do you ask questions, right? Well, if you ask these really open-ended questions, you can start to get a light and heavy gauge for what it is that you're asking, right? So for example, here's one of my favorite questions to ask. So let's say you have 2 choices, okay? I mean, likely you'll have more than that, but let's say you've narrowed it down to 2 choices, okay? What you can do is say, if I choose this, meaning, choice A, what would my life be like in 5 years? And then get the energy of that. Does that feel light? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel twisty? Does it feel turny? Does it feel somewhere in between? But just acknowledge where that is. And then go, if I choose this, or if I choose B, right, what will my life be like in 5 years? And then get that. Does it feel lighter? Does it feel heavier? Right? Does it feel twisty? Does it feel unsure? And then as you ask these questions, you'll start to get more clear on what it is that feels really light and expansive for you, right? Have you ever made a choice that you knew wasn't going to turn out good, but you chose it anyway? Right? I mean, the example that my coaches love to use, which I find quite hilarious, is like, have you ever gone home with someone you knew you shouldn't have gone home with? Right? What if you're far more aware than you've ever given yourself credit for? Is you actually have a capacity to know what your choices are going to create, but you like to ignore them because that's how most people function, right? Because that's how most people function. Most people are addicted to this idea that everything's up to chance and they don't have any control. And the amazing thing is, your control comes in your capacity to choose. It comes in your ability to choose. And what if you could actually create your life simply by what it is you chose? So asking questions. That was a bit of a tangent, but it was important to note. Okay, good. So asking questions. So here are some of my favorite questions to ask. Oh my goodness, these are some of my favorite questions ever. And quick side note is a lot of these tools are coming from a modality called Access Consciousness. I'm also an Access Consciousness bars facilitator, and the bars are 32 points on the head that when touched, kind of like clear out a lot of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that keep you stuck in the past, which you can find more at accessconsciousness.com. But these tools are kind of just basics that I can get you started on, right? So here's some of my favorite questions. So question number 1, how does it get any better than this? Okay? How does it get any better than this? Now, I invite you to play with this question. Here's me being the invitation with this question. Isn't that question inviting, though? Like, let's look at even that for a second. When someone says, wow, how does it get any better than this? How inviting is that energy, right? How inviting is that energy? And what if you could be that energy of how does it get any better than this in everything you chose? So how does it get any better than this? Now, I challenge you to ask this question when like your business grows. Wow, how does it get any better than this? Ask this question when your business doesn't grow. How does it get any better than this? Okay? Ask this question when you get a hot date or when you have really yummy, delicious food. Okay? Ask this question when you meet a new friend. Ask this question when you get a flat tire. Okay? You get a flat tire. How does it get any better than this? Okay? Ask this question when your computer crashes. How does it get any better than this? Okay? So the amazing thing is the more you ask, how does it get any better? The more the universe shows up to show you how it does. Okay? What if you knew the universe had your back? What if you were willing to have your back? Could the universe support you greater? Maybe that's a topic for another webinar. Here's question number 2. So the first one, how does it get any better than this? Second one, how did I get so lucky? How did I get so lucky? Okay? When things are going good, how did I get so lucky? When things aren't going so good, how did I get so lucky? But if you start to actually acknowledge the luck that you have and your ability to create and your ability to choose, then you just get more of it. So how did I get so lucky actually creates more luck in your life. I mean, who wouldn't want more luck, right? Question number 3. Now this is kind of a fill in the blank question, okay? So the question is, what would it take for blank? Okay, what would it take for blank? See, this amazing thing will occur when you start to ask. Have you guys, maybe let me even back it up a second here. Have you guys ever heard of this really like beautiful little statement called ask and you shall receive? Okay, ask and you shall receive. Maybe you've heard of this little concept, right? Well, it's actually one of the truths of the universe is that if you ask, you will receive, right? Now, lots of times we'll stop that receiving based on, whether we think we deserve it or not, or whether it's showing up in the exact right timing we want it to, right? But the reality is, if you ask, you will receive. And I'm going to give you a little tip here, okay? I feel like I have to whisper this because this is top secret. You can't tell anyone, okay? But when you ask, you have to know something. It will never, ever, ever show up the way you think it will. Okay? I only said it once. That's all I'm going to say. It gets too complicated after that. But when you start to ask, what would it take for blank to show up? Okay? So for example, let's say you'd like a new distributor. How cool would that be? Maybe you'd like it to help a new consultant get signed up. Maybe you'd like to help grow your business, right? What if you asked the question? What if you woke up in the morning and said, what would it take to meet someone interested in starting a business today? Right? Or even take the today out. What would it take to meet someone interested in expanding their life? Oh, that one actually feels a lot yummier. Oh, let's acknowledge that, okay? So we talked about light and heavy. Which question here feels lighter? What would it take to find someone to sign up in business today? Or what would it take to meet people interested in expanding their life? The second one feels a lot lighter. I mean, to me anyway. Because ask and you shall receive, right, is actually allowing the universe to contribute to you in a way that it can, right? And when you ask a question, the universe actually has to rearrange itself to, because you were going down one path and now you've asked for something different. So the universe now has to rearrange itself so that that is something that could show up for you, right? So in doing that, it won't show up the way that you think it will. So if you can ask these really broad and expansive questions, the universe can gift it to you oftentimes a lot quicker because there's less to rearrange. When when you're asking for X amount of people by X amount of time, right? You have a deadline and a number of people, right? Then the universe has a lot of work to do. Whereas if you can ask for something really yummy and really expansive, like what would it take to meet people today? What would it take to meet people interested in expanding their life? Okay? And then just start there. And when you meet someone really cool, and you might not even talk to them, you might just see them, and you get a feeling from them, you get a vibe from them, you get an energy from them that expands your world, how does it get any better than that? Right? How does it get any better than that? And what would it take for more of that to show up? Okay? So those are my 3 favorite questions that you can definitely play with. They're awesome, awesome. Now, Oh, here's another really cool one. So here's tool number 3 I'd like to give you. Tool number 3 of 4. So tool number 3 is this really simple, really easy thing, okay? And it's called I'll have that, okay? So it's very complicated and fancy. Well, no, not so much. But basically, what it is when you see someone that is creating something you like. Now, it might be they're physically creating something you'd like they have, a lot of money, or they have this really sexy, yummy, juicy way of being with their body, or maybe they have a really incredibly loving relationship, or something else. When you see something that someone else has that you would like, in your world, right, in your head, all you have to do is go, I'll have that. That's all you have to say. I'll have that. Okay? And what you're doing is you're actually choosing the resonance energy with what it is they're willing to receive. Okay? You're choosing the resonant energy of what it is they're willing to receive. See, there's something about someone who's willing to have those things, that they're willing to have a level of joy, they're willing to have a level of happiness, a level of excitement and creation to have that occur. And if you go, I'll have that, you actually start to expand your energy into a place that allows you to receive it. Okay? It's like, what if the world was your catalog? Like the Sears wish books? Every year you get the Sears wish books, and the kids rip it open, and they're like, oh, I want this and this and this, right? And they make these great big long lists. I know, good times, right? I'm still waiting on the pony. But if you make these, if you could actually start to see life as this great big Sears catalog, what if you could pick out all the things that you'd like, right? What if you were driving down the street and you saw someone in a BMW, and you're like, I'll have that. Okay? I'll have that. And then allow yourself a moment of receiving what that would do for you, like the energy that that would bring in your life, and just let yourself soak in it for a while. Let yourself kind of enjoy it and roll around in it for a second, okay? Maybe you're walking past, maybe you're walking past a store in the mall, and you see this couple in a jewelry store, and they're having so much fun and they're so in love, and you walk by, go, I'll have that, right? I'll have that. Whatever that looks like, I'll have that. However that shows up, I'll have it, okay? That's tool number 3, saying I'll have it, okay? And you can absolutely say it in your head, but this really magical thing happens when you start to say it out loud, when you start to actually say it, verbalize it. Maybe you're hanging out with some friends. Could you imagine so here it is, being the invitation. Could you imagine being the person that was hanging out in your group of friends who was maybe talking about how hard this is, or how difficult that is, or how much work this is, and you went, huh, and then you were driving by a BMW and you went, oh, I'll have that. How much of their reality would you change? What would you invite them to that they don't currently have access to, that if you would choose it, would give them the access to what it is they would like? Let that sink in for a minute. What if being the invitation was willing to choose what no one else was? What if being the invitation was willing to choose what no one else was? Choose what no one else was willing to, and go, you know what, I'll have it. I'll have it. Why not? Why not me? They get it. Why can't I have it? Right? And then when you get it, or an energy shows up, cool, how does it get any better than that? How did I get so lucky? Okay? I love that. So easy and yummy. What if your life was easy? Oh, geez, that's a whole other story. Definitely don't start asking, what would it take for me to have a life of ease? Definitely don't start asking that. My God. Then you would just have no problems, and everything would just work so quickly. And, oh, it would be awful. It would be awful. Don't ask that. Okay, so tool number 4. Okay, now this one kind of connects back to the light and heavy. And what tool number 4 is, really acknowledging what's true for you and what it is that is your reality. Okay, this world is going to try and tell you a lot of things about how things have to be and should be, and how long things take, and what it has to look like and the ABC that's required to get, the EFG. And what if that's not actually true? Okay? And what if that's not actually true for you? You know what I mean? See, this really interesting thing happens is we tend to listen to other people more than we listen to what's true for us. And what if we could start listening to what's true for us and following our lightness so that we could create that sense of ease that we know is possible? Like, shouldn't you have known that your life should be easy? Shouldn't you have always known that? And what if it could be? And the way to really start creating your life as the ease and the invitation and the level of joy that you'd really like, start acknowledging what's true for you. Okay? People are going to try to tell you things, and if it feels heavy, you don't have to, you don't have to call them out on it. You don't have to make them wrong for it. You don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is acknowledge in your own world, you know what, that's heavy for me. And then ask a question. How could it be any easier than that? How could it get any better than that? What else is possible with that I haven't considered? What else is possible? Another great question to ask. What else is possible? Okay? Acknowledge what's true for you. Acknowledge what your reality is and start choosing from there. Okay? And here's a little bonus tip, okay? Here's a bonus. I was only going to do 4, but this one's like screaming at me to share. Bonus tip, so this would be number 5, if you want to say, is please get that money follows joy, okay? Money follows joy. And your life actually follows joy. And creation follows joy. And most people are looking for what they have to get so they can be happy. And I promise you that if you actually choose happiness first, everything you're looking to get will show up. Because you will become this irresistible invitation that people can't ignore. There'll be this irresistible invitation that people can't shy away from. If you can actually allow that light that you love to shine on others to shine twice as bright on you, you'll be able to help them more than you've been able to up till now. You'll be able to help them far more. It goes back to what we were talking about. You actually can't give to someone that which you don't have. And so what if you were willing to have the happiness and the joy that you know is possible, right? And then invite other people to it instead of trying to create it for them. One of my favorite quotes of all time, oh my gosh, you guys, you're going to love this one. This is one of my favorite quotes of all time, and I can't remember who said it or where I heard it. And if you know, please find me on Facebook and let me know. That would be awesome, right? But one of my favorite quotes is that so many people try and be the captain of everyone else's ship. But if you're willing to be the lighthouse, the ships will find their way. So many people are trying to be the captain of everyone else's ship, that if you were willing to be the lighthouse, the ships would find their way. So what if being the invitation, acknowledging that your happiness was the most valuable product on the planet, was actually choosing to be the lighthouse, choosing to be the beam of irresistible light, the beam of sun. Think of the sun. The sun doesn't give and give and give to everyone. The sun just stands there being it, being everything it can be, and gifting and receiving with everyone, right? Sun doesn't actually lose, the sun doesn't lose heat by, shining on the planet. The sun just shines and everyone else receives from it. Would you be willing to be that person who just literally just shone and just were as bright as you could possibly be, and everyone else just flocked to you like bugs to a light? Oh, that's a funny analogy. I haven't thought of that before. Yeah, what if you were like the light that all the bugs came to? How much more fun would your life and would your business be, right? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So, oh my gosh, I've had so much fun with this. I'm so grateful for you guys. And of course, we have a ton more to share. So feel free to reach out to me and let me know what you thought. You can find me at andreaosowsky.ca at the bottom of the slide there, AndreaOsowsky.ca. And of course, if you are interested and you have private questions or personal questions and you would like some more clarity or would like to maybe learn some more tools and put them into action, I do offer complimentary 30-minute sessions for you to just try it out and see if these tools are for you and how we can actually apply them to your life. So all you have to do is go to andreaosowky.ca and go work with me. And there's a little form there you can fill out, and I will get in touch with you. That's the easiest way. And then, of course, through Facebook. So I am so, so grateful for this time that we had together, and I look forward to connecting with all of you very soon. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Hey, Andrea, thank you so much for sharing all these great tips tonight. Like I took so many notes. It's so fascinating because I just, and seeing where you came from, going through what you had to go through at such a young age with your dad to finding yourself in a happy place and the tools that you use to get there. And I love how, at one point you mentioned that, what if you could be that person, being so damn happy so people notice you. I thought that,
Yeah,
wow, you hit on a nail every single time tonight. Like, people always notice the negativity because I don't know why, but it is what it is, right?
totally.
And
Yeah,
there's so many things that I took even for myself. Like, when you said like choose what no one else has, you know,
yeah,
really what I heard from that is like make that decision. It's my decision. It's your decision, right? Like make it, and it doesn't matter how you run your life in terms of like what you're doing it for, like with the light
yeah,
and heavy. Is if it doesn't
yeah.
feel right, it's gonna be heavy. I've just
So true.
I
And the other thing,
go ahead.
oh, absolutely. And the other thing is that what's light for you might not be light for anyone else. And that's okay. And what's heavy for you might not be heavy for anyone else, right? So
Uh,
when you start to acknowledge what's light and heavy for you, people are going to disagree, and that's okay. It's just not true for them. It's just what's true for you.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
the exercise that you give us to do, which I don't know if everybody did it or not, like when she asked us to close our eyes and to feel that. One of them I could put words on it, the other one I couldn't, but I could feel it. I could feel it heavier, and I'm like, wow, this is
Yeah.
so amazing because it's knowing within ourselves. So thank you so much, Andrea, for being on the call tonight. I'm sure a lot of people got a lot of amazing things from. You can write your questions if you have any question or comments in the box here below. But yeah, I trust that everybody got a lot out of this call, rather it's to run their life, their business, their relationship, whatever it is. I mean, life is about being happy and,
Yeah.
and making that decision within ourselves. So, if you have any question, like Andrea said, you can always connect with her through Facebook or through her website. Thank you so much for bringing all the tips and tools that you brought tonight and to even allowing people to come and reach out to you for that free session. I mean, I know
Absolutely.
how valuable even tonight has been for me and working together, how amazing you are. And yeah, I strongly say to anybody on the call to do reach out, and see where your life can go versus, you know, like you said, what if, right?
What if? Yeah. What if? I love that. Well, thank you again, Anne Marie, and everyone have an amazing evening or day wherever you are in the world, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.
Thank you very much. I just want to have a comment here from Team Pazook saying, "Awesome training, Andrea. I agree with all that you talk about having the choice to be happy, and then seeing all those chosen not to be happy and wondering why. Thanks for clarifying. Thank you so much for your training." Yeah. So
Oh, awesome. You're so very welcome. You're so, so welcome.
As always, I have recorded this call, so you will find this on my YouTube channel if you miss. And yeah, so this is it for tonight. Thank you very much. Next Monday will actually be what I'm going to do right now to all of you is wishing you all a Merry very Merry Christmas. Go find joy within your family and friends. Have some great time. We will skip next Monday training to be back January 4th, which means in the new year. But we do have an amazing big webinar on Sunday, January 3rd. It's the Mega 2016 webinar, hearing from where the direction of the company is going and what are they releasing and all this, and of course the convention tickets. So make sure you register to the January 3rd mega webinar. It's going to be huge. Grab your friends, your family, grab a bottle of wine or tea or whatever you want to do that night. It's going to be an amazing, do not miss. And we will see you on January 4th. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you again, Andrea.
Bye.
Bye.